from Neshannock Station, New Jersey. Brand new founders, Double Diamonds, Shivram and Angelique Kumar.
Okay. Thank you. Have a seat. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So here's my wife, Anjali. We just enjoy building the business, guys. We have big, bodacious dreams. Definitely we have a bodacious lifestyle through this business. No question about it. No matter, I can try to be humble, but you know what? It's a good lifestyle. But we really do enjoy life. We don't really know life outside this business, you know. We're just extremely grateful. Everything they said is true. But building a solid business, right? Okay. So here's Anjali.
Again, it's wonderful being here today, and we just enjoy coming here and meeting your leadership, and we're just very excited that there's so much growth and momentum. I know that last week at your recognition, it was just the teachings and the training was just the recognition, and we just want to applaud you on all the growth that is happening in this organization and in this team. So we're just very proud of you guys, and we have always built the business. And we continue to with a very open and simple heart in many ways. You know, it's like we have been very consistent with our effort. We've been very loyal to the team, and we have understood what it is to work with the process of delayed gratification and how to work consistently towards accomplishing a goal. You know, in talking about having faith and belief in yourself, having faith and belief in the business is something that just makes sense. You know, when you choose a vehicle to accomplish your goal, you want to make sure that you're committed to it and you believe in it. How do you increase your belief? You increase your belief by by coming to these associations and listening to other people who have been in the business longer than you or are seeing different results right now. And you want to have an organization like that. You know, you also increase your belief by using the products. We have incredible products. And if you have not had a chance to try any of these products yet, I would encourage you first to, take the time to get familiar with the great product line that we have. When I got started in the business, we sat down and he made me sit with him and we wrote down our dreams and goals. It was not really related to an pin, but it was just more about what we wanted to accomplish in life. And, what we wanted 5 years from now, bank balance, our lifestyle, the things that we thought would, give us, a comfortable life. Then we broke it down to 2 years. We broke it down to a year, 6 months. And then we said, okay, if we want this kind of an income block coming into our household, what is the work that we have to do to have a structure that will generate this kind of income? I mean, you see, in our business right now, it's just very clear. It has always been, when you have the width, you have the profitability. When you have the depth, you have security, which is long-term business. So it's a business of understanding the logic as well as the heart behind how you have an organization and how you keep an organization together. And that is something that is not just for a certain type of people. Anybody can develop a skill if you're willing to learn. So break it down a little bit if that makes sense to you or logic to you. That's what I had to do for myself. And once I knew what it is that I was working for, and I knew what it is that I wanted, it was so identified and so it was so visual for me. I was able to put in the work, which somebody would say paying the price. I was able to do that with a happy heart, I didn't have an intention I was not competing with anybody else. It was our goal, it was our future, and we knew what we were working for. I mean, right now, I think the one thing that which I believe we were fortunate we didn't have, was this distraction on the internet, where we didn't really compete with someone else's lifestyle on the internet. We were not, the time stealers were not as obvious. So whatever it is that you have to probably take a little time from other things and make sure that you focus on your future. I mean, at the end of the day, you pay your own bills. You have to make something of your own life. And as much as you admire and respect everybody else, and you see them travel to all these great places, and you watch them on, whatever social media that they post everything that they do their life on, I just hope you understand that that is just a time stealer taking you away from things that you can create for your life and your future. And focus on your life, focus on your goals. And that's what we did. So, we are just very fortunate. I mean, the basics of the business are very simple, and my husband's going to cover a lot of them. You need a list. You need to have a growing list of people at all given times, because that is the raw material of your business. That is the future of your business. And that is readily available. I mean, this is the only business that you do not need to have a big building, or you have to have a structure, or you have to have employees, or take a loan from a bank to start, or anything. But you do need a willingness, a desire, and you need to know people, or you need to have a willingness to meet people. And so once you meet these people, how do you introduce the business to them? We both do it together, but with lack of time, he's going to cover a lot of the topics, but we both show the plan. We both go out and meet the people. We do the follow-ups together, and we just make sure that we do our bit to expose the person who wants it and who's looking to the right opportunity, and do it to our best that we can. So we are just going to go over some of the basics with you. We make sure that you get people started right with the demo kits and with the knowledge and product knowledge, and move on to introducing them to what all this business can be. And I'm going to have my husband talk about the basics, and great talking to you guys.
Thank you. I'll tell you the biggest gift that Bill Britt gave us. Bill Britt spent most of his time building people up, not teaching mechanics. Okay? No matter what mechanics you try, there's many ways to build this business. Okay? I'm going to go over a certain thought process, certain things that I've followed, but nothing will be exactly the same for you. You got to use your common sense. How many of you heard the new Bill Hawkins talk, dropping the message? Right? Great talk, right? But I'll tell you, I can never be as slick as Bill. I cannot talk like him. As fast and as, cool, right? His delivery. So I have to adjust it to my temperament, my personality, right? For example, I can't tell a new prospect that I'm talking to that I will take them to the promised land. It just is not going to come out right. It will not come out right, okay? So, we got to adjust it based on our personality. So, and also another thing that you got to remember is that whatever you do is working, don't change anything, and your upline might have some variations of what I'm teaching. But the basic thing I want you to learn from what I'm talking about, what I'm going to talk about, is mostly the attitude. Okay? It comes from a belief. It comes from having a dream and believing in that dream. If you don't have those two things, it won't work. So, initially you may not have it because you're new in the business, your dream may not be crystallized, you may not really believe that those dreams are possible. So during that time is called the learning time. You may not be as effective. You may fumble a little bit, right? But that's how you learn, right? How many of you play basketball? Everybody plays basketball? How do you become a good basketball player? By being a bad basketball player first, right? You can't read a book about basketball, do a PhD inside a bathroom and come out doing three-pointers, right? Shooting three-point. You have to embarrass yourself a little bit in public. Yes or no? That is the process of success. It's called failing. Okay? So be prepared. But main thing is, if you have a belief in your dream, if you have a dream and you have belief in your dream, the mechanics are nothing. If the why is strong enough, the how really doesn't matter. You will absolutely figure it out. And the third thing is you should be able to connect with people. Ability to connect with people. These are things that are ingredients, okay? On top of that, what you say doesn't matter, because when you have taken ownership of your dream, about your belief in your dreams, and you know that you don't want to work for someone else for the next 500 years, okay? Then you will automatically be confident. The right words will come out of your mouth. And you'll have strong posture, because this is your business. The owner of your business, the CEO of your business, is sitting on your chair right now. It's not your upline's business. You're part of your upline business. Your downline is part of your business. But your business is your business. Okay, that's why we can't fire people. If somebody becomes inactive in the business, we don't need to fire them, because they don't cause an overhead. There's no expense keeping them in the team, right? In your job, that's not the case. If somebody doesn't perform, they get fired. Okay, in this business, we let everybody come in, as long as they're doing good as far as the team is concerned. As long as they are not disruptive, we let them come in. But I cannot be fired by my upline, but I can fire myself if I want. A lot of people get in and do nothing. Okay? We want you to be effective. Sometimes we are guilty of taking your dreams more seriously than you take it. That's what you can accuse us of. Okay? Because we take your dreams very, very seriously. And sometimes people themselves don't, and they fool around for a while, and then we find out we were wasting our time. Okay? But your attitude is the most important thing. The words that come out of your mouth, how your brain is programmed, the brain behind those words. Your mindset is the most important thing. If the mindset is not right, no matter what I teach you, the mechanics will not be effective. The mindset is that you're born to win. Period. Yes? That if somebody else can succeed, I can succeed. That's your mindset. You're not less than anybody. It doesn't matter what your education level is. It doesn't matter what languages you know or you don't know. You can succeed in this business. What other business recently you've heard of, anywhere in the world, where a Somalian refugee couple, despite all their struggles, I mean, they had all kinds of issues. You will hear from them. Get to the diamond level. You tell me. In this business, it is just simply a will to succeed. Okay? So, keeping that in mind, that the mindset is more important than anything else, I'm going to teach you some mechanics. Okay? We have got something called the 9 core steps, which is not the scope of what I'm talking about. Okay? There's only 9 things we do. What's your name? Santosh. Out of those 9 things, one is called show the plan, which means building the network. That's the one I'm going to talk about today. Okay? It says, how do we build the network? Because after all, that's our prerogative. That's really what we want to do. A person, one of the ways we qualify people in this business is after seeing the business and after getting started, we look for people who have an immediate desire to develop a network. You'd be surprised at so many people that come in, they see the plan, they see that we are putting these circles together, you know, and then when you tell them, okay, let's start building a network, they look at you like you're from a different planet. Did you get that or you didn't get that? Oh, I don't like to talk to people. Really? If you don't like to talk to people, you better start liking to talk to people. If you're afraid, that's a different issue. We can teach you how to get rid of that fear. Okay? So we have, in that building the network part, there are 4 basics. One is list building. Okay? And contacting. List building and contacting. Okay? Second is team calling and inviting. Third is the qualifying interview and the open meeting. The qualifying interview and the open meeting. Fourth is follow up and getting started. Okay. So list building and contacting is the first step. Second step is team calling and booking an appointment, invitation or booking an appointment. Third is the qualifying interview and getting them to the open meeting. And the fourth is follow up and getting started. Okay? So, let's talk about list building and contacting. This is, you're starting to build a network. If you're brand new, you've got something called the A-list. A-list are people that you know very well. Family and friends. These are people that walk into your house and walk straight into the kitchen and open your refrigerator. Okay? So with them, you have a different posture. Okay? With them, I want you to think of one word. Deflection. Which means, you're not saying that you know this and you know that. What you're saying is that you came across some people that you are impressed with that are teaching you how to create security on the site. You're very impressed with them. And they are the experts. Right? That is the thought. Because otherwise, if you try to be an expert, your family and your friend, they'll chew you out, right? They will take you to the cleaners, right? Okay, they will give you a hard time. But if I say to them, like, I came across a team, which means all the conversation from that point onwards, somebody else is going to have with them, not me. Do you understand? So, this is how it goes. The A list, people you know very well. Make a list. Write down name, profession, city, and relationship. Name, profession, city, and relationship. Make a list. Go through the list with your upline, whoever your mentor is, and get recommendations. They might tell you, talk to this person first or talk to this. How do you organize that list? Okay? How to prospect and qualify. Okay? But with your family, you cannot have a lot of posture. Okay, you can't say, I don't know if you will qualify or not. Okay, if you say that to your brother, he'll hit you on the head with a book or something, right? Okay, so how to prospect family? Hey John, I've come across a great team of people that is mentoring people on how to create an additional source of income. Just a general guideline, by the way. So this is the deflect everything approach. What you're saying to them as the conversation proceeds, I don't know much, but I like what I saw and I need your opinion. That's something you can say to a close friend, a family, right? And then if they ask you anything, you can say, I can't really explain anything properly to you, but one of the senior team guys can do it, right? So you're basically, what you're saying is that, look, I don't want to try and explain this to you, okay? But these people I'm impressed with, and one of them will do it, will do it on my behalf to you, will show you what this is all about, okay? Then you can say, either you're going to their play where they are and meeting them somewhere and showing them the presentation, right, which is called the qualifying interview, okay? Or you're inviting them to maybe a house meeting, okay, where you might be hosting a meeting in your home. So it could be, you might say to them, I'll bring the person that I met from this team with me, okay? What works better for you? Thursday evening 7 p.m. or Saturday afternoon 2 p.m.? You're giving them choices. You're not saying what is good for you. You don't say, when can I come to see you, right? I only have an open calendar. Because you really have asked your mentor what times are available. So it might not, I'm just giving an example, random example, right? So they have to pick one of two. Or you might say, I have organized a meeting at my place on so and such date at such and such a time. Okay. Now if you're really close to them, you don't even have to say all this. You say, dude, 2 p.m. Sunday, you're coming to my house. It is how close you are to them. This is the A list, right? Okay. There is no contacting involved here because you already know them, right? You don't have to start the conversation by telling your brother, hey, listen, we met in the kitchen this morning. You don't have to do all that, right? Okay. Get them to where someone else from the team is showing the plan or somebody else that will do a QI on your behalf. With your family and your friends, best thing is to have somebody else come in because they can say to your friend or your brother, I don't know if you will qualify or not. You can't say it. Got it? Okay. Number one, B list. Acquaintances like your dentist or co-worker or a friend from a church, right? Okay. So go through the list with your upline and get some recommendations. How to prospect them and qualify. This is a general guideline. Quick hi and hello. Some little bit of small talk, because they're an acquaintance. You got to make a little connection. I mean, if they're a friend from a church, you say, hey, remember, I saw you last Sunday, you were falling asleep during the sermon, I think you were praying harder than usual, So I feel you're looking for something, You know about the story of the guy, right? That the priest he was very dedicated in his church. He did all these every Sunday morning. And then one day he passed away, went to heaven. And he saw his accommodations. He got a little hut to stay in. And then he saw that there was a New York cab driver that had a huge mansion. So he goes up to God and says, what is going on here? I dedicated my life to you. I did all these hours. I practically lived in a church. Preached your word. And here it is. I get a little hut and he gets this huge mansion. How did that happen? God says it's because I know you did all that. But when you were giving your sermon, most people were asleep. But when he was driving, people were praying. Okay? So here you go, okay? So B list acquaintances like dentist, co-worker, friend from a church. Go through the list with your upline. Quick hi, hello. Make a little connection, whatever it is, it's been a while since we met or, you used to work together. Again, if there is a current co-worker, be careful. Don't prospect them and show the plan during working hours because that's not what they pay you for, right? But, and also talk to only those co-workers off time, not during working time. That will not cause a problem for you even if they are not interested or if they don't qualify. Okay? So, this is slightly different words. Hey John, I've come across a great team of people that's mentoring people on how to create an additional source of income. And what about you? Are you okay with your job forever? Or are you looking to create some security as well? Something like that, right? Okay? They're going to say yes, no, or what is this all about? Again, you're deflecting, but not as much as with your family, right? You say something like, well, my coaches are looking for some new talent. But before I start talking to them about you, I want to, ask you a few questions. You can say that. Or you can say, I cannot promise you anything, but since you're looking to diversify, I can let the team know a little bit about you and then take their directions on the next step. Does that sound good to you? Okay? Then call him or her the next day and set up a qualifying interview. The C list. C list is the fun part. People you haven't met yet. People you just met for the first time. Maybe just contacted them. I'm talking about face-to-face. We'll get to social networking later. But face-to-face, right? You've just met somebody, you know. There is an acronym that I learned when I got started in the business. FORM. When you're talking to someone, you just start a conversation, ask them about family, occupation, and recreation. And the M is a message. So FOR is generally having a conversation. So you start to have conversations, you know, with people. I mean, it's very easy. You know, if you're sitting in a train with someone, a bus with someone, it's easy to ask them, do you work around here? What do you do for a living? You know, FORM. It can be ORFM or ROFM. The M is always the last with the message, which means you're asking them questions to see how they respond. If they're not friendly, you say hi, right? And then they say, then they grunt. They say, you don't talk. You know what you do? You don't talk after that. Okay, you say the wrong thing, dude, you're out. I'm not going to show you the plan. I'm not thinking, how can I show him the plan? I'm desperate. I have to qualify for the second week. I'm not thinking like that. Okay? I am thinking, dude, I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm not looking for very deep answers. Just give me some respectful, decent answers. We'll go to the next step, right? Okay? So FORM. And then finally, they will ask you what you're doing. What do you do for a living? I would say something like, yeah, I'm an engineer and IT consultant during weekdays, but I was also very fortunate to come across a team of mentors, coaches. You know how jobs are. I'll say that. Now, most of the time they will respond, yeah, you're right. You know, they'll say something that's an opening, you know, that is interesting, you know. But what if they don't say that? Then you talk about other things and say, what about you? Are you okay with your job forever? Or are you looking to create some security as well? They can say no. If they say no, I'm done. If they say yes, or what it's all about, well, this is a complete shot in the dark because you only just met. Also, I'm not sure whether my coaches are looking for new talent at this particular time or not. I can check with them and get back to you. Sounds good? Again, any questions they ask, you just say, I cannot promise you anything. I can talk to my mentors and then take direction on their next steps. Does that sound good to you? Now here, listen, I'm reading from a script and you're all already in the business. It's easy for me. Okay, when I actually do the contacting, it won't be this nice. It won't be perfect. Sometimes I'll forget what to say next. It is okay. But if you practice, you'll get there. You with me? Okay. So, then social network contacts. You're applying a script on how to send a text message to somebody you contacted. Or how to use scripts. There are many scripts. Just get it from your upline. On social network, how to prospect and contact people. Do's and don'ts of social networking also. Okay? There are many, many great talks on streaming. Make sure you listen to every talk in that topic of each of the 4 basics. Now, you have, except for your A list, you know, the others you have to book what we call, even with your A list really, if you're bringing somebody else with you, right? If you're bringing somebody else with you, they are going to do the qualifying interview. So you've got to learn how to book the qualifying interview, the time. I told you about, I gave you examples, right? You ask somebody, is Thursday better or is Wednesday better or Saturday better? Whatever you're asking them, giving them options, right? But actually how to do that. Because you have A-list people, what to say to them. You have B-list people, what to say to them. You have C-list people, what to say to them. While making that phone call, rather than sitting alone at home and making the calls, go to what is called team calling on Sunday evening. Where you're finding a whole, because you may not relate to, even though I'm mentoring you directly, some of you may not relate to me. Okay, you will relate to somebody else because their personality matches yours. So you find out how they make those calls. And we have scripts for each one of them. So there is synergy. If you sit at home, you probably do what I did. Keep on postponing. You know, I'll call this guy later. You know, I come back from work and call him. Then you say, let me have dinner first. You have dinner first, and then you say, well, maybe he's having his dinner now. And then you say, you know, let me give him some time. He's just eaten dinner. Then you'll say, it's too late. I'll call him tomorrow. That's what happens. Sunday night is a great time to call because Sunday night, you know that Sunday night feeling. People are looking on Sunday night more than any other night. Because next day is what? And they have what in their stomach? Not in their stomach. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Sunday night, knot in the stomach. How many of you are willing to admit that you have a knot in your stomach on Sunday night because you have to get up on Monday morning and go where you really don't want to go? Right? So how to book a meeting, okay? On the phone. What words to use, what posture to have. And if the prospect, the other thing I find out from them is that on the phone call itself, I like to ask them who makes decisions. Who are the decisions? When you make a decision, whose opinion do you value? If he says my father or my spouse or my girlfriend or she says my boyfriend, I'm going to say then I'll have to meet both of you. I have some questions to ask you. Like if this is somebody, if it is an acquaintance, I've already told them, right? And if it is a C-list, what I tell them? That I have to check with my team and call you back. Right? Whether they're looking for new talent or not. Okay? And before I talk to them, I want to check with you if you're open. Right? Now I just have to call and say, look, I checked with my team. Right? And they have asked me to run a few questions by you before we go to the next step. Fair enough? And then you book a meeting. How to book a meeting? You learn in the team calling. Which is better for you? You give them two options. You know, I have Tuesday evening open and Friday 6 p.m. Two options. And you book a meeting. Okay. If they say, you know, neither of that are open, you can't keep saying, okay, then how about Wednesday? And they say, no, I'm not open on that, then how about Tuesday? You can't do that. You're losing your posture. Okay, give them two slots. If they don't take it, they say, let me call you back. Okay, you keep, posture means that you are in control. Okay? And don't be afraid to make mistakes, guys. The first few plans I did was terrible. Okay? I mean, I was showing this business like I was trying to give a disease away. So first 17 people I showed this business to, they didn't get in. Mostly because I was sweating more than anything else. Okay? And I was making up my own stuff without really listening to my mentor. Okay? So, some tips from team that you will learn from team calling is don't sell. Okay? Don't sell the business. Don't say this will be great for you. That'll be your job on the phone is not to give details at all. Because if you give details, you have to keep them curious and not suspicious. If you give too many details, they'll go from curiosity and they'll start making conclusions, they'll go into suspicion. Okay? The purpose is to check interest and book an appointment. Okay? Don't go into details. If they dodge, then you just dump them. If they say, well, I don't know, you got to tell me more on the phone, say, well, I cannot. This is how the team works. No, but you have to tell me, otherwise I don't want to meet with you. Fine. This is not for you. You should be willing to take it back. That you will learn from team calling. Okay? And you stay in control all the time. See, guys, I'm in the filtering process. I want to give them enough time, enough opportunity. I'm not trying to make them say no. That is not my goal. Okay, but I'm giving them enough opportunity to say no. They could have said no when I made them at the contact. I said, how about you? You know, are you happy? Are you okay with your job forever? Or are you looking for... They could have said, I'm fine. They didn't say it, right? On the phone, I said, I checked with my mentor coaches, you know, and they said, I should meet with you and ask some questions. Is that okay with you? They could have said no there, right? And now at the qualifying interview also they can say no. But if they are trying to intercept the process and say, well, because I am putting myself through an inconvenience to go meet them, right? If I want to avoid that trip, I could tell them things on the phone, right? What is the website? I can't tell you anything right now. Okay? We have to meet first. Because I don't want to get all excited. What if this business is not for you? Right? So, again, you know, you have the approach, how to talk to A-list, B-list, C-list. Now your qualifying interview. Where would you do the qualifying interview? Okay? Here's the thing, guys. It's who you're talking to. It's who you're talking to. You're talking to a lot of students, great. But don't specialize in just students. Bill Britt said the most productive part of society is 25 to 35. I'll tell you why. People who already have jobs. A lot of the students, students are excellent, but don't specialize just in one category. Okay? Spread it out. When I got in, I was a single guy. Okay, but I registered all couples because I knew that they had buying power. All of them had better homes than I did. I was in a condominium, they were all mostly in houses. Ajay and Alka, Sanjeev and Shauna, Pat and Leena, all these people had houses. Ramesh and Rama didn't have it, they were just like me. Okay, but they were all couples though. Which means, see what happens is, that doesn't mean that, and I also had singles. That doesn't mean you just get, now the business is built by everybody, singles and couples. But you should put a mix in your group, so that you're not stuck with one liability, My first goal, my preferred place to do a qualifying interview is in their home. Which means it helps if they have a home. Do you understand? Sooner or later, because I'm bringing a partner on, I want to see them in their environment. So initially I might meet them at Starbucks, but that is not my entire goal. Okay, I don't want to do my entire business from Starbucks to Starbucks. You understand? Sooner or later I want to get in their dorms. Okay, see where they are. Of course, if I'm, again, it's who you are qualifying also. If I'm a single guy talking to a single girl, I'm going to be careful. I'm never going to go to a place alone. I'm not going to go to a room alone with them. There's no way. Okay, I'm going to be in a public place and making it very clear that this is a business meeting. You understand? Okay, all those things are important. But I prefer it when people say, well, Kumar, the world has changed. People don't even like to have you in their homes anymore. Well, you'll get what you speak. I don't believe that. I'm looking for people that will make it easier for me, right? I want to register people that have, the best people are the ones that have something, but they know that, hey, listen, if I continue working in this job, I'm doomed. They have responsibilities. They're thinking about starting a family or getting married. Those are very good candidates for the business. When I got into this business, Ramesh and Rama's sponsor she was a doctor, he was an engineer. They had a nice home. I was never intimidated, guys, by these things. I don't understand why a lot of people are not doing that anymore. All my weekends were in nice homes where I was showing the plan for a couple like Girish and Purnima Desai, doctors, right? Founders Diamonds. I showed the plan in Rajan and Lakshmi's home for Kanti, not even my group. For Kanti, nice home in Long Island where Girish came to see the plan for the first time. These houses and these families give you credibility. You can start a business, they won't ask you stupid questions. I can tell you that. So they already know what it is to succeed. Okay? So don't be afraid of people. Honest to goodness, I was in Boston and I was showing the plan and I asked the guy, can you name somebody who's not in this room who may be looking for more? He said Obama. And everybody laughed. But I said, I'm not laughing. Because if Barack Obama finishes his term and I find him somewhere, I meet him somewhere, and if he says he's open-minded to business, I won't even miss a heartbeat. I'll show him the plan because I am not his father. If he's looking, he'll say yes. If he's not looking, he's going to say no. How about Warren Buffett? Richest man, one of the richest people in the world. Would I show him the plan? Well, if I propose the business to him and I'll ask him, why do you want to see the business? I have had people tell me, Kumar, I already have a successful life. I am a doctor. My wife is also a doctor. We have this home and all that. Why would we start another business? I'll say, I asked you over the phone. You are the one who invited me here. You tell me. I'm not here to tell you. You tell me why you're looking for business. That is exactly, in fact, that was my first question to you. You already have these nice cars. You have a nice home. You have all the time and money in the world. Then why did you invite me? I've just dropped a bait. What is he going to say? Huh? I have money, but I don't have time. But what if he doesn't say that? Then I'll say, you know what? Let me try and make it easy for you. I'm not here to sell you anything. I thought you were looking. Maybe you are not sure why you should be doing something, but let me tell you why doctors like you build my business. Because they have money, but they're looking for time. Are you in that position? Because if you're not in that position, conversation is over. I'm going home. I mean, after drinking your tea or whatever you offer me. This has been my God's honest truth. From 600 PBO, whenever even those screwed up plans, first 17 plans, one thing I did not lose was my posture. Because I never sold this thing. You tell me, Warren Buffett, you're the wealthiest, you're a multi-billionaire. Why would you get into this business? Well, Kumar, Mr. Kumar, I have all the money in the world, but I heard that in this business you can really get build great relationships and friends. I'm missing that. Okay, great. That's a good reason. I'll show you the plan. You don't show me a good reason, I ain't showing you the plan. Fair enough? Okay. Why is that confusing? I don't know. Okay. So the qualifying interview, where you do it. Okay. Preferably at your home or dorm or Starbucks or even my home. Okay. So, do's and don'ts. Stay in control. Maintain posture. What is the goal of a meeting? Huh? Book another meeting. Guys, The goal of a meeting is to book another meeting. Once you and I are friends, we don't have to do that. But if you're building a friendship with someone, okay, even dating, it works like that, right? When somebody says, I'll call you tomorrow, that's a problem. But when they say, hey, why don't we get together again and fix the time, that's when you know the relationship is progressing. Yes or no? Yeah? Okay. So a goal of a meeting, so the goal of a qualifying interview is to book the next meeting. Where do you want to see them? After the QI. Sooner or later. Open meeting. Because the team, people are not logical, people are emotional. Okay? If you get them to the open meeting, they see the other people. And that's when they get excited. This is the mecca. This is the watering hole. This is where, because the process is not over. Even if they sign up and even if they order the products, till they come here, the process is not over. Nothing builds belief like numbers of people and the credibility. I wish people like Rajiv Sajja would show off more about their achievement before the business, because it helps the whole team. When you're like the IT consultant of the universe and all that, whatever he was. Okay? I was at the team meeting, Deepak Khare, you know, Sugit and Kajal's sponsor. He has a company that has 250 employees, 250 IT people. Why is he building this business? You know, and then you have some H1 guy comes in and he gives you attitude about this business. You know, his cubicle is temporary. And he's challenging the thinking of Deepak Khare, who employs 250 people like him. Hello? Okay? If there is anything we have, it's credibility. Leave while they are still curious. QI should be done in 15 minutes. Qualify, not more than that. You should leave while they are still curious. And you should leave while they are asking questions and wanting to know more. You should not leave when they are falling asleep. Okay? For the QI, take the Kiyosaki book with you. Business of the 21st Century and the CD with you. Take it with you. Okay? What do you do at a QI? First is you set them at ease. You know, something nice, you know, maybe if in their home you compliment the painting, how long you've been here, or something quick though. It should never get to a point that you're setting them at ease so much that they say, what you got? You know? Okay? So you set them at ease a little bit, you know? Like if you're talking to a lady, you say, that's a nice mop on your head, whatever, you know, right? Okay? Okay. And then you ask questions, right? Many questions, you don't have to ask all these questions, but some of the questions you ask are, why did you agree to sit down with me? Okay? Or, have you thought of starting your own business? Right? What are your strengths? Do you think outside the box? You don't have to ask all of them, but there's just a menu of questions for you, you know? Do you always look for other people's approvals? Do you feel secure in your current financial situation? I also ask them, describe your typical week. Because then they tell me, I'll say, tell me about this coming week. Because they tell me the whole week, I already know they're free on Tuesday night. Because I want to get them to the meeting. Because there's no point doing a tug of war, you know. If you don't know they're free on Tuesday, then you offer Tuesday. They say, no, I got this IT delivery, I got to call, you know, whichever country to do my software thingy, you know. And I cannot be really there. Then you're again dodging what to do. So you can still handle it, but the more you know, the better, right? Okay. I even asked them, what would you prioritize? How would you prioritize the following? Health, finance, and lifestyle. And with these questions, I'm not looking for any deep answers. Okay? As long as the prospect is respectful and gives decent answers, I will proceed. Now what I'll do is I'll show them the napkin plan.
Now, the reason I'm talking about just showing the napkin plan is if you're doing a qualifying interview, which means you're not getting into details, which means you're just giving an overview and going to the next step. But there are circumstances under which you show the entire plan. For example, if they ask you, is this MLM, or they've heard about the business, they have some vague idea, or you've driven a distance, long distance to show the plan to them. In that case, you could show the entire plan. Again, it's up to your discretion of what you do. But it's good to be able to do more. You know, a qualifying interview, you can do 3 or 4 of them in one evening, and just give them an overview and bring them to the meeting. So you could show the entire plan. That's an option. But if I'm doing a qualifying interview, if you're doing a full qualifying interview,
I'm not hiding anything from them, but I'm doing it the step-by-step process, you know. What I will tell them is, look, I have told you what we do. I haven't told you how we do it. Okay? For that, I think I like your answers so far. Okay? I think they're fairly decent, you know. I believe that I can accommodate you I can get you to a meeting that my coaches have organized. And you're lucky because you're free on Tuesday evening. Okay? And I booked them for the meeting. And listen to me carefully, guys. Posture is important. I'll tell them about the dress code. You need to come in business attire. How do I know you don't have good posture? Not enough good posture is when I see your prospects. You're afraid to tell them. You're so afraid to get a no that you're not telling them they need to be in business attire. It is not fair to the others. Those of you who are not in business attire at this meeting, you need to be in business attire. Okay, because we are a team, we show professionalism, right? And you know what? Carry a tie and a jacket in case they don't have it. You can offer it to them. Okay? If somebody comes in totally casual clothes, it's not fair to the people. And it's okay if you're here. I'm not trying to embarrass you or anything like that. It's how you were invited, right? Okay? It's not your fault. What I'm saying is that I'm not going to seat them in the front if they're not properly attired. I'm not going to turn them down, but I'll seat them in the back. You're with me? Okay? This is a business, guys. The prouder you feel about who you are and what you do, in a good way. You're not being obnoxious to people, right? Okay. And then, okay, I booked the meeting. And here's another thing I learned. One thing I learned from a couple called Karthik and Shobha in Boston. You know what he says to them? He says, look, it's not going to cost you anything to be there, but it's going to cost me money to get you a seat there. It's true? Is it true? Do IBOs pay to get in here? Yeah. Okay? And he says, so I need your word. I have one more question for you. Are you accountable? Do you keep your appointments? Because I am impressed with you. I think you'll fit nicely into the team, but I don't want to be embarrassed on Tuesday because I'm going to talk about you to my team. And then you book the meeting and you leave. They ask you any questions, you say, now is not the time. Okay? Now is not the time, right? Okay. Now that is the qualifying interview. Your posture increases, and also, one more thing. You can decide. Your posture increases in inverse proportion to the quality of the prospect. If somebody, let's say that Rajiv is making $200,000 a year, and he talks to a student that's barely making nothing a year, right? His posture should be high, which means the guy has to qualify even before the business. Forget the business. Even without the business, the kid should be looking up to Rajiv. Yes or no? Okay, not just financially. Look at the way he lives, right? So it's his family. So the posture is. So Rajiv might say, "Look, you're a student, and you're really not sure. So I'm going to give you homework. Here is a Kiyosaki book. Read this book. I'll check with you the next couple of days how much progress you have made with this book, because he's giving him an assignment to see how serious the guy is. You understand? You can do that. But you cannot do that to a doctor. You can't say, here, let me check, read this book, right? So you got to be careful with what you're saying to who. But you have the arsenal, you have the book and the CD. Or you might just leave the book and CD. It's an optional thing to me. You say, you don't force them to read, you don't say it's homework, you just say, go through this, before we meet. Okay, so that's why you have the book and the CD. Personally, I don't give it to them at that point most of the time. So, look, nobody knows exactly what to do. If you think my QIs are all slick and beautiful and everything works properly, perfectly, you're wrong. So you've done that. Now here, this is the open meeting, right? Okay. Well, I'll give you my personal example since I was talking to you about posture, right? I took a car to an auto body shop, and the guy was qualified. He had a science degree, but he was working in the auto body shop. So he remembered, I had a Hummer once also. He remembered that, And he said, oh, you had the Hummer? I said, yeah. And then he said, what do you do for a living? Because now I had the car we were fixing was a Hyundai, but I came in a BMW, right? So he said, what do you do? I said, I help people create security. We mentor people. People who may be fed up of their job, people who are not content. You know how many people are not content with their jobs? And I said, how about you, man? You have a degree in science and you like working here? He says, I don't have a choice, but I would like to know what you're doing. He said that to me. Okay. I said, okay, but who is the decision maker in your house? Who makes? He says, me and my wife. I take my wife's opinion. I said, then I have to talk to both of you. This is not the time to talk. Okay. Then he started taking pictures of the car. And then he asked this question. Is this network marketing? I said, yes. Why do you say that? He said, because if it's network marketing, we used to be in something like that. And he said, you have meetings and stuff like that is not for us. I said, wait, you're getting ahead of yourself. I said, here's the thing. I have a very strong and effective mentorship program. But if you are not willing to unlearn everything you know about network marketing right now, the conversation is over. You know, that's better than saying, what do you know about network marketing? No, I don't do this. And come on, you know. We don't have any meetings. That's a lie. Okay? So, I said, if you are not willing to unlearn everything you know about network marketing, this conversation ends here. He said, no, that's not what I meant. See, takeaway always works. He said, no, I'd like to know. Good. It's a different matter that I haven't called him yet. That's a different matter, okay? But posture works. So posture, and to him I gave the book. I met him when I picked up the book. When I picked up the car a few days later, it was a small job, so he gave me quickly. He was reading the book too. So the open meeting, okay, you are dressed sharply, first of all. Guys, if you don't have pride in your business, it's not going to work. I had my IT consulting business, but this business was special. It liberated me. It gave me freedom. I'm not dealing with employees, you know. So when I came out of the AT&T Bell Labs building, I felt like a king, man. I felt like I owned the world. I hope you feel that way. So I came early to open meetings. I stayed late. I was a good team player. That's what you need to be. Okay? In good business attire, you need to be here. Tuesday evening, come rain or storm, we don't care what happens, you're going to be here. Why? Not because I'm saying so. I'm not your boss. Because this is your business. Hello? Right? And the team is meeting. This business is a team sport. Okay? So, come early, stay late, and welcome the guests. Welcome your guest and anybody else's guest with nicely, as if their own guest. Make them feel welcome and comfortable, because people are emotional. They are not logical. They are logical to some extent, but they are more emotional. They see the team welcoming them, everybody treating each other right. They haven't seen that anywhere else. Maybe in their church, yeah, but people want an economic solution. Okay? People go to motivational seminars, but they get all motivated, all dressed up and nowhere to go. They don't know what to do with that motivation, because they have to go back to work the next day. On Sunday, they go to a service where somebody says, you know, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. On Monday, it's do unto others before they do it unto you. So, if your guest is not in proper attire, loan them a tie or whatever. Or you can even say, I'm going to check with my coach if we can get you in with that attire, because I told you to come in business attire. Be nice. And you can check with your coach and then bring them in. And you don't have to, if they're wearing jeans, don't bring them to the front row. Okay? That's what I would recommend. You got to keep our posture. Okay? Introduce the guest to someone they will relate to and to your upline quickly before the meeting. Tell the guests, so far everything looks good and you're optimistic. Now you set them at ease, you know. Don't give them too much posture right now. At the end of the meeting, take the guest to the speaker. Always. And then to your upline. Because what are they going to do? I mean, if you are John and your guest is Jill, you're going to say, this is Jill. I told you about her. What would you recommend to her? That's what you're going to say to your upline or to the speaker. Either of them, what are they going to say? Hey, take the material, Jill, make an appointment, share what you're looking for, you know, think about between now and then, just think about what you might want to benefit, what you might want to get out of this business, and John will tell you what it will take to get what you're looking for. Fair enough? Okay, so they're going to edify you. They're going to say good things about you. They're going to tell your guest. The speaker is going to tell Jill that John is great, because John cannot tell Jill that John is great. Somebody else can. That's teamwork. And for that, the speaker, it comes out better if the speaker knows John. And how will the speaker know John? If John comes to every meeting. If John comes only once in 3 weeks when he has a guest. When John and Jill are walking and the speaker doesn't know which one is the guest. So, does it make sense? At the end of the open, then they are helping you book a follow-up. Honestly, I feel that unless there is a situation where they're traveling or something like that, in 24 to 48 hours, they should book a meeting. And how does that work for you the best? You know how that works for you? When you have multiple people in the open meeting. When you have many guests in the meeting, then your posture is going to be good. Because if somebody does not give you Thursday evening, you give somebody else that time. Okay? I'm not saying, sometimes there are situations, they're busy or something happened the weekends. I'm not saying, sometimes it might go over 48 hours. But your goal is to meet them in the next 48 hours. Don't be strict. I'm just giving a guideline, right? Okay? Sometimes they're so packed that only Saturday is open. Fine. But book the follow-up. As soon as the speaker says get back together with them, you need to get your phone out and your calendar out and book it. Give them the material. At this point, if you have not given them Kiyosaki, you can give that too. It's all flexible. Give them some CDs or talks that they can relate to. Okay? Follow-up. By now, if I have not gone to their home, where they live, I'd like to do the follow-up there. Or in my place. Because I'm not just getting any joker in my business, guys. I don't. You know, when we say it doesn't matter if somebody is from Yale or jail, we don't really mean it. Okay, it's just something we say. Okay? Don't go to jail to prospect people. Okay? Right? So at the follow-up, what happens at the follow-up? When you meet with them, first thing is what? Set them at ease. Set them at ease, right? Take with you more CDs. If you have not given the Kiyosaki book, take it with you. Take a goodie bag, book some products in a Ziploc bag or something that you feel they will enjoy the most. If they're single, take some excess and some bars. If there's a lady involved, you can take a light up lip gloss or one of those artistry things, check upline, okay, on what. But be prepared, okay? So you go there, you set them at ease. Again, hey, good to see you again, whatever, right? And then when you start getting into the process, right, of following up, ask some good positive leading questions like, what did you like best about what you saw? What did you like best about what you saw? So they say, I like the people. Somebody said today to me they like the jokes. So I said to her, I can't guarantee you'll succeed, but jokes I will guarantee you. Because I have to laugh every day, and if you're around me, you're lucky. Okay, unless you're the subject of the joke, then it won't be that funny. But yeah, So, okay, follow up. Again, what is the goal of a follow-up? A follow-up is a meeting, right? What's the goal of a meeting? To book another meeting, okay? And the goal of a follow-up is to reduce fear, increase belief. To have polite posture, okay? Don't do a lot of takeaway unless they have an attitude. Then you take it away from them. Okay, you are in control. Okay? You should be caring, you should be about connecting people. So you ask them, what did you like best about the business, what you saw? Okay? Then you ask them, did you get a chance to go through the material I gave you? What will they say? What can they possibly say? Yes or no, right? If they say yes, you know what you say? Great. Then I'm sure you have some questions, right? What are they going to say? Yes. Say no. I didn't go through the material. Say that. Kushal. Great. Then I'm sure you have some questions. My response is the same. Because I don't want to hold you up to that if you don't go through the material, I'm not going to. Because a lot of things can happen in parallel, right? Okay. And then I'm going to say, but before you ask your questions, is it okay if I ask you some more questions? Nobody's ever said no to me in 22 years. Okay? Question number 1. If this business were to work for you, we mentor you and you're a good student. If it was to work for you, what would you like for it to do for you? Minimum. Give me a dollar figure. Give me a dollar figure. Santosh. If this business were to work for you, what appeals to you as a minimum dollar figure per month? Even $100 extra is good, right? Okay. How about to you, Kushal? Huh? 100 is good. 100 makes a difference to you, right? So then I'll tell you, okay, that's good, because all you need to do is sell a few products. Okay, but I'm going to ask you about, once you made the 100, what would be your next step? How much? Let's say. Give me one of your dreams. Something that is meaningful. I'll give my example. In case you're stuck, I'll give you my example. Like I'll say, look, I wanted to support my parents. I wanted to make $500 a month. Do you have anything like that? How much amount? $1,000 a month, right? But I'm trying to explain the work to him, right? So I'll say, would you like me to tell you what it takes to make $1,000 a month regularly in this business? Yeah? Yes. And these are the questions, right? First, are you willing to change your buying habits? Yes? Okay. You say yes? Fantastic. CLAW, okay? Change, listen, associate, work. Are you willing to listen? If I teach you, are you willing to listen? You say yes? The moment you say yes, I'm going to give you 5 more CDs. Or I'm going to give you some streaming talks to listen to. Because you said you're willing to listen. What is your name? Frank, what do you do? You study finance, right? So I'm going to give him something related to that. I'm going to find some speakers who are related to the field of finance. I'm going to give him those talks. Make sense? Are you willing to listen? He said he's willing to listen. Are you willing to associate, Kushal? Because the power of association, right? We become what we associate with, right? And this is a team sport. The moment Kushal says, are you willing to associate? You know what I do? He says yes, he's willing to associate. What do? I book the next meeting. In my mind, my follow-up is over. I don't tell him that, but my follow-up is over. When I book the next meeting, I'm done. He's coming to the next meeting, I'm done. It could be PACE meeting, it could be an open meeting, team meeting, anything. I booked him. My follow-up is already successful to me. Then last is what? CLAW. Are you willing to work? You say yes. If you say no, what am I going to do? Hey man, this business may not be for you. Nobody ever says that. Okay, sometimes people say yes and they don't work. That's a different issue. But they'll never say no, I don't want to work and start working. Okay, okay. You're willing to work. You say yes. Then I'm going to tell you what the work is. So I'm going to quickly write this acronym for you. Okay. This seems like a long thing because I'm teaching all the steps. Okay. In reality, it won't feel this long. Okay. I'm going to write down. This is the work. PASST. I'll tell you. I already asked you about the products, right? Using the products and creating some retail clients. This is the work. Work number 1. Second is I already told you association, right? And I'll remind you. I booked you on Friday evening. We're going to meet, right? Okay. Third is system. Which is, remember the CDs I gave you and the book I gave you? That's all part of the system. Okay. Fourth is show the plan. Which means what? What I was doing, which means the 4 basics, right? I'm not going to get into detail in it because you're just follow up, right? And what is the last one? T. Yeah. Technology, right? Technology. I'll say that there are technology tools available. I'm not, depending on how much time I've spent there, I'm not going to go into too much detail. But that's the work. Okay? Is this okay with you? Are you willing to learn all this? He says yes. Hey, then Kushal, Santosh, as far as we are concerned, Frank, we are ready to get you started. And I'll shake you and say, congratulations. Is there anything stopping you from getting started right now? So now, if somebody has any questions, they'll ask you those questions now. Mostly people don't have any questions. But by chance, they have any questions. This is usually the people that think they know how network marketing works. They will start asking questions. All the questions translate to one question. You know what it is? Kumar, do you really believe this will work for you? So what I do is, I take down their questions. I don't answer them one at a time. I just take down their questions. If they say, the guy who did this talk on Tuesday night, the curly-haired guy from New Jersey, he looks like the guy that killed my grandfather 20 years ago. You don't object. You don't say, how could it be? He was not even in this country. Don't say anything. Just say, speaker killed grandfather 20 years ago. Just write it down. Okay? Then he says, oh, I heard the products are expensive. Your meetings are long. Don't get defensive. No, meetings are not long. Bloom. This is your business. Okay? So to me, today the meeting is long because, it's hard to shut me up, right? Okay? I'm saying that, I am willing to stay awake from my own business. If I can work 8 hours for someone else, all day, why can't I stay a little bit longer awake for my own future, right? Instead of sitting and watching Netflix. Make sense? So I will write down the questions. And let me tell you, 99% of the time, they don't even want the answers. They just want to ask the questions. Say, okay. These are fine questions. Everybody asks these questions. These are normal. Let's get started. They'll get started. If they have a serious objection, if they have serious doubt, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Because what is the goal of a meeting? Did you book another meeting? It's successful. What if you signed them up, but you didn't book another meeting? Failed. Most of the cases, you will sign them up and book another meeting. Okay? So these are the 4 steps. Now, what do you do with a person getting started? Okay? You're showing them a little bit of products, you're getting them to the next meeting, you're loaning them CDs, and you're doing this. What is this? 4 basics, what I just explained to you. So first, if you're brand new, if the prospect is brand new, they're going to expose their business to the A list, right? People that they know very well. And what are they going to do? They're going to deflect. Deflect. You heard me say that. Deflect. They're going to say, hey, listen, I don't know much, but I like this guy. And I want your opinion. Or, it's a close friend, they're going to say, show up. Right? The A list is how you're learning, from people. In fact, one thing I'll tell you, if you're a little doubtful about this business, make the list of the people that you know will not be interested in this business. The toughest people you know. Make a list. People who will not be interested. Definitely they won't get in. Like some uncle of yours, like somebody that knows everything, And then show the plan to them with your upline. And when they say, I'm not interested, you say, that is exactly what I expected. See, I was just practicing on you. Yeah. You know? But be prepared to be surprised. This business will surprise you. People you think you're going to build it are not going to build it. Somebody you think will never do it, will do it. Sometimes we show to the people that are the least ambitious, because, I showed it to people that owed me money because they were afraid. They'll be afraid to say no to me, right? And I was not, in the beginning, I didn't show it to doctors and right away off the bat, I realized later on that these are the people who are slightly successful, they want to be more successful. People who are extremely busy understand the value of time and they want to be free. People who are not busy, they are not busy for a reason. So they don't do squat. When they are not at all busy, they come into our business and then they are not at all busy again. When they become a liability. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So these are the 4 basics. Good enough? But your goal also is to mix up, bring a lot of people, man. Don't be afraid to talk to anybody. If people are looking, everybody should be looking today. Okay? It's only when you sell out to somebody else's dream you have to worry about what they think. If you've got your own business, you can think whatever you want. Our business is a great unifier. It doesn't matter who you bring onto the team. It doesn't matter what the color of anybody's skin is. It doesn't matter what race they are, what ethnicity they are. If there's volume, you get paid. I have got so many people in my group in so many countries that I don't even know the languages in those countries. I go to those meetings, they ask me to talk, somebody is translating. But then they come and talk in their language and sometimes there are no people to translate in English. I sit in the back and I smile. Because you can tell, generally you can tell what they're saying. Because you're connected in the right way. Isn't that awesome? Okay. So you can have an international business. We went to Hong Kong this time, last month, our whole family. And we had a team of 250 people that we had never seen before. For the first time I went to Hong Kong. I have a team there. We have teams in Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam. We have teams in Australia, in the United Kingdom, India. I don't know, many other countries. Philippines, So you can have that. Okay, but you have to be what? Determined. And you got to be. The thing you need in this business is mental toughness. The good news is if you don't have it now, we can provide you. That's what we specialize in. Providing mental toughness. Okay? I'm done with that, guys. It was great talking to you. At least to me. Thank you.